My name is Nikola Tesla. Join me as I share my story, a journey of invention, electricity, and the future of humanity.
He was born in a forgotten village in the mountains of the Austrian Empire, today part of Croatia. The world he entered was poor, silent, and centuries behind the future he would one day imagine. His father wanted him to become a priest. His family expected him to live a quiet village life, but Tesla's mind was never quiet. Even as a child, he saw visions, violent flashes of light that appeared before his eyes. He once confessed that sometimes he could not tell what was real and what was inside his own imagination, but nature was his first teacher. He watched storms, wind, rivers, and stars. He believed everything in existence was connected, not by magic or religion, but by energy. He simply didn't know how to prove it yet. His mother noticed it first, not just his intelligence, but his obsession. He would build things from nothing, mechanisms, tools, devices, using only his mind. He didn't need drawings. He didn't test ideas like other inventors. He saw everything inside his head, perfectly clear, before touching a single piece of metal. But life is a balance of creation and destruction, and tragedy came early. Tesla had an older brother, Dane. Everyone said Dane was a prodigy, faster, sharper, even more gifted than Nikola. One day, Dane died in a mysterious accident. Some said he fell from a horse. Others whispered something far darker. But the truth died with him. Nikola was devastated. He was no longer the second son. He became the only son. And with that came expectations he did not choose. His father forced discipline upon him. Religion, order, obedience. But Tesla wanted freedom. He was not born to follow. He was born to discover. He went to study engineering. And that is where it began, the moment he saw something that would define his life. A primitive electric generator sparking and choking in a university lab. Students laughed at how badly it failed. Tesla didn't laugh. He had just fallen in love. Electricity, not fire, not water, not steam. Electricity was the future. He became obsessed. He barely slept. He barely ate. He dove so deep into studying electricity that his professors started warning him. "You are working yourself to death," one professor said. Tesla looked at him and replied, "I will work until I succeed or die." But he was not interested in repeating what others had done. He had a new vision, an impossible idea at that time. Alternating current. Powerful, efficient electricity that could travel across long distances. The kind of energy that could power entire cities. But the world hated new ideas. "You are chasing a fantasy," his professor said. "Impossible mathematics," said another. "If this worked, someone would have already done it," others told him. Tesla didn't argue. He hated arguing. Instead, he quietly declared to himself, "I will build it." But before he could, disaster struck. He fell ill. So ill, he nearly died. While he lay bedridden, his father made a promise. "If you survive, I will not force you to become a priest. You will be free to become an engineer." Tesla recovered. But when he stood again, he was not the same man anymore. He had seen death. Now he wanted to challenge life. He once said, "The desire that guides me in all I do is the desire to harness the forces of nature, to serve mankind." But the road ahead would not lead him to praise. It would lead him to betrayal. It would lead him to war. It would lead him to enemies so powerful they would try to erase him. And with his renewed purpose, he traveled to Budapest, where a chance encounter in a park revealed to him the concept of the rotating magnetic field, the key to the AC motor. He saw it in his mind, vivid and complete, as though destiny itself had placed it there. Tesla's journey then took him to Paris, where he worked for the Continental Edison Company, repairing electrical equipment and impressing all who met him. Yet, he knew France was too small for his ideas. To change the world, he had to go further. He had to go to America. In 1884, Nikola Tesla arrived in New York City with 4 cents in his pocket, a notebook full of ideas, and a letter of recommendation that read, "I know 2 great men. You are one. This man is the other." He walked into the office of Thomas Edison, the most famous inventor in the world, and asked for a job. Edison hired him, but the 2 men were opposites. Edison, a practical builder of machines. Tesla, a visionary whose mind calculated entire systems before touching a single tool. Edison championed direct current. Tesla believed in the superiority of alternating current. Edison promised Tesla $50,000 if he could fix his failing DC generators. Tesla succeeded, working tirelessly for weeks, only for Edison to laugh and refuse payment, calling it American humor. Tesla quit immediately, betrayed and exhausted, yet unbroken. He dug ditches and lived on meager wages, refusing to abandon his vision. Tesla's mind was a laboratory unto itself. He did not merely invent. He visualized entire machine systems and forces in motion before a single wire was touched. His inventions were not incremental. They were leaps across the boundaries of human understanding. The Tesla coil, one of his most famous creations, was more than a device. It was a bridge to the unseen energy of the universe. With it, he could generate immense voltages, millions of volts, arcs of lightning that danced and twisted through the air, illuminating the darkness with power that seemed almost alive. Scientists and spectators alike watched in awe as electricity leapt from the coils, creating flashes brighter than the sun and sound that rattled walls like thunder. But the Tesla coil was only the beginning. Tesla experimented with high-frequency currents, discovering ways to transmit energy without wires. He envisioned entire cities powered invisibly, every household receiving electricity from the air itself. In Colorado Springs, he built a massive experimental station, producing artificial lightning over 100 feet long, sparks that struck the ground, the air, and even the clouds above. Locals reported fires and tremors, calling authorities in panic, convinced that the man had unleashed supernatural forces. Tesla merely took notes, fascinated by the patterns and behaviors of electricity as it pulsed through the atmosphere. He was obsessed with wireless power. Tesla believed that the Earth itself could conduct energy, that it was a giant battery waiting to be tapped. He designed the Wardenclyffe Tower to test this theory on a massive scale, a towering structure intended to transmit energy across continents. If it had succeeded, humanity could have tapped into limitless energy, eliminating dependence on coal, oil, and gas. But the world was not ready. Investors balked. Governments hesitated. Copper and steel rotted in place, and Tesla's dream stood incomplete, a monument to the audacity of imagination. Tesla's vision extended even further. He worked on devices that would remotely control machines, demonstrating what would later become the foundation of robotics. In 1898, he unveiled a radio-controlled boat, moving it with precision across a pond before the astonished eyes of the public. The media called it the world's first robot, though few understood the significance. This was Tesla predicting a future of automated machines, of drones, of devices responding to invisible signals. He had invented it all before the age of computers or microchips. Then there was the Teleforce, the infamous death ray. Tesla described it as a weapon capable of projecting concentrated beams of energy that could destroy military targets hundreds of miles away. He claimed it was defensive, not offensive, a shield against war. Yet even a hint of such power frightened governments and financiers. Nobody could harness it, and Tesla refused to compromise its ethical purpose. The blueprints were never fully realized, and after his death, they were seized and classified by the US government. Whether the weapon could have worked as described remains a mystery, but Tesla believed it could. And perhaps, in some hidden room, fragments of that knowledge still exist. Tesla also experimented with mechanical oscillators, devices that could resonate with the natural frequencies of objects. In one hotel basement, he allegedly caused vibrations strong enough to shake the building, crack walls, and alarm authorities. He wrote in his notes that the right frequency could move mountains, shift tectonic plates, and even generate energy directly from the Earth itself. Whether exaggeration or fact, these experiments reveal a mind pushing the boundaries of known physics, seeing not just what is, but what could be. His work with X-rays and radiant energy also went largely unrecognized at the time. He produced early X-ray images long before radiology became a standard practice, capturing the human skeleton and revealing the inner structures of the body. Tesla's discoveries predated and influenced the work of later scientists, yet he often refused credit, claiming he pursued knowledge for its own sake, not fame. Even his turbine designs were decades ahead of the era. Tesla envisioned bladeless turbines, powered by fluids or steam, that could achieve efficiency far surpassing traditional turbines. These inventions could have revolutionized energy production, water pumping, and transportation, but industrial interests largely ignored them. Tesla's machines were too advanced, too futuristic, too threatening to established systems. Through all these inventions, a pattern emerges. Tesla did not invent for profit. He invented for the future. His mind constantly raced ahead, building concepts that would only be fully understood decades later. The world of the early 20th century could not grasp him. Corporations wanted profit, governments wanted control, and society demanded conformity. Tesla offered freedom, power, and possibility, and they feared it. Even in poverty, Tesla's brilliance never faded. He spent his last years in small hotel rooms, writing, calculating, dreaming. He meticulously documented experiments that the world would never see, predicting technologies that would arrive long after his death: radar, wireless communication, energy transmission, drones, and even modern computing concepts. His life was a testament to what happens when imagination, discipline, and obsession collide, a genius so far ahead that he seemed almost supernatural. Tesla once said, "The present is theirs. The future, for which I have really worked, is mine." It was true. His life, though misunderstood and forgotten in the moment, laid the foundation for the modern world. Every light bulb, every power line, every smartphone, every radio signal traces back to the mind of Nikola Tesla. He was a man too powerful, too visionary, too dangerous for his time. A child of lightning who carried the storm inside him. And though he died alone, the world eventually caught up. Every night, when cities glow and machines hum, Tesla's vision lives on, a silent reminder of what one mind can accomplish when it refuses to bow to limitation.
The night Nikola Tesla was born, the sky tore itself apart. Lightning split the heavens, thunder shook the village of Smiljan, and the people inside their homes whispered prayers to an unseen god. The midwife hesitated, her hands trembling over the newborn. "A child born in lightning is a curse," she said. But Tesla's mother, calm and unshaken, replied, "No, he will be a child of light." She was right. From the very first breath, Nikola Tesla carried the energy of the storm within him. His life would be a series of shocks and revelations, a blaze of brilliance that the ordinary world could barely comprehend. He would rise from the shadows of a small Balkan village to the grand halls of New York City. He would create inventions that powered the future, yet die alone, surrounded by the silence of a world that had forgotten him. Tesla grew up in a home where ideas mattered more than wealth. His father, Milutin Tesla, was a Serbian Orthodox priest, stern, disciplined, and devoted to tradition. He wanted Nikola to follow a path of faith, to live within the safe confines of obedience. But Tesla's mind was already elsewhere, wandering the infinite possibilities of the universe. His mother, Juka, though unable to read or write, possessed a mind sharper than most scholars. She built tools by hand, redesigned household devices, and solved problems with sheer imagination. From her, Tesla inherited a gift that would define his life: the ability to see inventions fully formed in his mind, moving and functioning perfectly before he ever touched a single tool. As a child, Tesla's brilliance was both a blessing and a burden. He memorized entire books after a single reading, solved complex equations in his head, and dreamed of machines that did not yet exist. But his visions came with strange flashes of light, hallucinations, and overwhelming sensations that often left him exhausted. He was a mind too vast for his own body, a consciousness too bright for the simple rhythms of village life. At 17, tragedy struck. Tesla's older brother, Dane, died in a mysterious accident. Some said it was a fall from a horse. Others whispered darker possibilities. The loss shattered Tesla's family. His father was plunged into grief, and Nikola, who had idolized Dane, felt a burning need to prove himself, to show that his life, too, could leave a mark upon the world. He enrolled at the Technical University in Graz, Austria, where he first encountered the world of electricity. There, he saw a demonstration of a primitive electric motor and felt a revelation. A motor powered by alternating current could run without contact, without sparks, without wearing out. It could change everything. His professors dismissed the idea as impossible, but Tesla's vision was unwavering. He had seen the future, and no skepticism could shake him. Illness nearly claimed him. Bedridden for months, he hovered between life and death. His father, desperate to save him, promised that if he survived, he could pursue engineering instead of the priesthood. Tesla recovered, and with his renewed purpose, he traveled to Budapest, where a chance encounter in a park revealed to him the concept of the rotating magnetic field, the key to the AC motor. He saw it in his mind, vivid and complete, as though destiny itself had placed it there. Tesla's journey then took him to Paris, where he worked for the Continental Edison Company, repairing electrical equipment and impressing all who met him. Yet he knew France was too small for his ideas. To change the world, he had to go further. He had to go to America. In 1884, Nikola Tesla arrived in New York City with 4 cents in his pocket, a notebook full of ideas, and a letter of recommendation that read, "I know 2 great men. You are one. This man is the other." He walked into the office of Thomas Edison, the most famous inventor in the world, and asked for a job. Edison hired him, but the 2 men were opposites. Edison, a practical builder of machines; Tesla, a visionary whose mind calculated entire systems before touching a single tool. Edison championed direct current. Tesla believed in the superiority of alternating current. Edison promised Tesla $50,000 if he could fix his failing DC generators. Tesla succeeded, working tirelessly for weeks, only for Edison to laugh and refuse payment, calling it American humor. Tesla quit immediately, betrayed and exhausted, yet unbroken. He dug ditches and lived on meager wages, refusing to abandon his vision. Eventually, 2 investors, Robert Lane and Benjamin Vail, recognized his genius. With their help, he founded the Tesla Electric Company in 1887. In a small workshop filled with scrap metal and wire, he built what others claimed was impossible: the first practical AC motor. The machine was elegant, efficient, revolutionary. Word spread quickly, and soon George Westinghouse, one of America's most powerful inventors, visited Tesla. Unlike Edison, Westinghouse saw the future in Tesla's work and bought his patents, offering him royalties on every horsepower produced. Edison, unwilling to accept defeat, began the infamous War of Currents, spreading propaganda that alternating current was deadly, even electrocuting animals publicly to prove his point. Tesla responded not with words, but with demonstrations. He passed AC electricity through his own body to show it was safe. Slowly, the world began to listen. In 1893, Tesla and Westinghouse electrified the Chicago World's Fair, illuminating 200,000 lamps across the night sky. 2 years later, they harnessed the mighty Niagara Falls, building the first hydroelectric power plant to supply power to Buffalo, New York. Newspapers hailed Tesla as the man who won the War of Currents. At the height of his success, Tesla was wealthy in patents but remained poor in cash. When Westinghouse faced financial ruin, Tesla tore up his royalty contracts, sacrificing millions of dollars to save his friend's company. Money, Tesla said, had never interested him. Ideas did. Progress. Humanity. Yet even these triumphs were mere stepping stones to the obsession that consumed him most: wireless energy. Tesla believed the Earth itself could transmit electricity without wires. He imagined a world where energy was free, flowing invisibly through the air, powering cities, farms, ships, and deserts. In 1899, in Colorado Springs, he experimented with high-voltage, high-frequency electricity, creating artificial lightning over 100 feet long. Thunder echoed for miles. Townspeople whispered about spirits, storms, and miracles. Tesla was undeterred. He believed he was on the verge of a discovery that could transform mankind. There, he claimed to detect signals from outer space, beeps, patterns, rhythms that he believed were intelligent. He wrote, "I feel as though I am the first to have heard a greeting from one planet to another." The world laughed, but decades later, scientists confirmed that radio signals exist naturally in space. Back in New York, Tesla began building Wardenclyffe Tower, a 187-foot structure crowned with a copper dome. Funded partially by J.P. Morgan, Tesla intended it not merely for wireless communication, but to transmit electricity globally, freely. When Morgan discovered Tesla's true intent, free energy, he withdrew funding. The tower was eventually abandoned, seized, and destroyed in 1917. Life after Wardenclyffe was a slow descent into isolation. He moved from hotel to hotel, carrying only suitcases filled with notebooks and inventions. Without money, he turned rooms into workshops. Managers complained. Tesla promised payment he could not give. He lived on credit, sometimes skipping meals, feeding pigeons instead of himself. One white pigeon became his obsession. He claimed she was the joy of his life, the only creature that truly understood him. Even in poverty, Tesla continued inventing. The death ray, the earthquake machine, advanced turbines, remote-controlled devices, wireless power systems, and ideas far beyond his era. Governments watched him closely. The FBI filed reports. Agents trailed him. But Tesla was beyond fear. He had always lived in the future. On January 7, 1943, Nikola Tesla died alone in the New Yorker hotel. He left behind hundreds of inventions, thousands of pages of notebooks, and secrets that would never be fully revealed. The U.S. government seized his papers immediately, labeling them top secret. Many were never seen again. Tesla had warned, "The present is theirs. The future, for which I have really worked, is mine." And indeed, his vision shaped the modern world. AC power, radio, robotics, hydroelectricity, wireless communication. Tesla's mind never rested. Even as the world dismissed him as an eccentric old man, he was still a man decades ahead of his time. While others chased profit and recognition, Tesla chased knowledge, the pure, untamed secrets of the universe. He sketched machines that could have changed warfare, transportation, and communication forever. Among them was the Teleforce, a weapon that newspapers sensationalized as the death ray. Tesla claimed it could generate a beam of energy capable of destroying armies and planes from hundreds of miles away. Governments took notice. He received inquiries from powerful nations, each eager to acquire his designs. But Tesla, true to his vision, refused. He did not want to create destruction. He wanted to protect humanity, to prevent war before it could begin. Around the same time, Tesla experimented with mechanical oscillators, small devices he insisted could produce vibrations strong enough to level buildings or create earthquakes. In one experiment, he reportedly caused tremors in his hotel basement so severe that emergency services investigated. Fearing a small earthquake, he was unbothered, fascinated by the untapped energy hidden in matter itself. What Tesla glimpsed in these experiments was the potential to manipulate forces that mankind had never dared to understand. Tesla also continued work on wireless transmission. In letters and interviews, he claimed he could transmit electricity across the world without wires, creating a network of free energy. This idea terrified investors and industrialists alike. Free energy was a threat to profit, to control. J.P. Morgan had already pulled funding for Wardenclyffe Tower when he realized Tesla's vision could not be monetized. Tesla wrote in frustration, "The present is theirs. The future, for which I have really worked, is mine." It was true. Tesla's ideas were so advanced that only decades later could science begin to comprehend them. By the 1930s, Tesla was a living legend of myth and rumor. He walked the streets of New York in a white suit, always meticulous, always polite, feeding pigeons in Bryant Park as though he were speaking to them in a language only he understood. Journalists visited him for interviews, often focusing on the eccentricities of the man rather than the brilliance of his mind. He spoke freely of particles, forces, and energy from space. He hinted at inventions that could change the world in a single moment. Inventions that would have rendered fossil fuels obsolete, wars impossible, and transportation instantaneous. Few could follow his explanations. Many dismissed him as a dreamer or a mad scientist. But Tesla's legacy was quietly everywhere. Electricity-powered cities, radio signals, long dismissed, began to connect continents. His experiments with X-rays, turbines, and early remote control devices influenced generations of engineers and inventors. Every modern convenience, from power grids to wireless communication, bears the fingerprints of his imagination. And yet, Tesla himself lived in obscurity, dependent on small stipends, hotel rooms, and the kindness of strangers. In his final years, Tesla grew increasingly concerned about secrecy and the misuse of science. He destroyed some of his papers deliberately, fearing that his discoveries could be weaponized by those who lacked conscience. He understood that knowledge is power, and that power, in the wrong hands, is dangerous. He remained steadfast in his principle. Science must serve humanity, not destroy it. On January 7, 1943, Nikola Tesla died quietly in room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel. Alone, forgotten by the world he had electrified, he left behind hundreds of patents, thousands of notebooks, and ideas that would take decades or even centuries to realize fully. Within hours, government agents had seized his remaining papers, labeling them top secret. Some disappeared forever. The death ray, his wireless power systems, and the earthquake machine, all his final creations, were lost to history, leaving only speculation and rumor. Tesla's life was more than invention. It was a testament to vision, obsession, and sacrifice. He had lived ahead of his time, creating what the world could not yet imagine, refusing to compromise for wealth or fame, and often paying the ultimate price for it. Every night he walked alone through the streets, speaking to birds, carrying his notebooks, dreaming of a world that would one day catch up with him. Even today, Tesla's shadow lingers. Every light bulb, every power line, every radio wave, every electric car, every wireless signal traces back to the mind of a man who saw the future and refused to blink. He was not simply an inventor. He was a prophet of science, a child of lightning, a man who dared to dream freedom for humanity itself.
Tesla's genius was not merely mechanical. It was moral, philosophical, and deeply human. He believed that knowledge and energy were the ultimate currencies of civilization, far more valuable than gold or political power. He saw electricity not as a commodity, but as a force that could liberate humanity. In his writings and interviews, he often spoke of a world where energy was free, abundant, and available to every person, no matter their station or circumstance. The development of man, he said, depends upon his ability to harness the forces of nature for the good of all, not for the enrichment of a few. He imagined cities where factories, schools, hospitals, and homes were powered invisibly, without wires or fuel. He imagined deserts blooming, ships crossing oceans without carrying coal or oil, and every nation connected by wireless communication. Tesla's vision was not only technological, it was ethical. He believed that if energy were free, human conflict over resources would vanish, war would become obsolete, poverty would diminish, and creativity could flourish. He called this the Age of Light, an era where mankind could rise above scarcity, fear, and limitation. Tesla often reflected on the responsibility of the scientist. He warned that knowledge in the wrong hands could be catastrophic. Weapons, he said, should never define progress. In one interview, he noted, "Science is but a perversion of itself unless it has as its ultimate goal the betterment of humanity." His inventions, the death ray, mechanical oscillators, and high-frequency energy devices, were conceived not for profit or domination, but as protective tools, as means to ensure peace through power. He understood that technology without conscience was more dangerous than ignorance itself. He also meditated on the nature of the universe. Tesla believed that the cosmos was alive with energy, patterns, and intelligence, a living matrix waiting to be tapped by those with imagination and discipline. He spoke of vibrations, resonances, and frequencies that connected all things, from the tiniest particle to entire planetary systems. To Tesla, science and spirituality were intertwined. Understanding the laws of nature was not merely a pursuit of knowledge. It was a way to harmonize humanity with the universe itself. Tesla's philosophy extended to the everyday world. He lived with simplicity, valuing ideas over material wealth. He believed that distraction, greed, and indulgence dulled the mind. "I do not care that they stole my ideas," he wrote. "I care that they have none of their own." He saw invention as a sacred responsibility, a dialogue with the universe in which every thought, every spark, and every experiment carried weight beyond the individual. Even in the last decades of his life, Tesla continued to push the boundaries of possibility. He spoke of global communication networks, wireless transmission of energy, remote-controlled vehicles, and even devices that could photograph thought or capture signals from the stars. To his contemporaries, these claims seemed fantastical. To history, they were prescient, anticipating technologies that would arrive decades later: radio, satellites, drones, and even concepts underlying modern computing. Tesla's philosophical reflections reveal a man not only ahead of his time technologically, but morally, ethically, and spiritually. He envisioned a future where humanity could flourish, where energy and knowledge were not monopolized, where inventions served the collective good. His life, while marked by isolation and financial hardship, was a testament to the power of ideas pursued with integrity, courage, and relentless imagination. He understood the paradox of genius. To see too far ahead is often to be misunderstood, ridiculed, or ignored. Yet Tesla remained steadfast. His mind remained a lightning rod for possibility, casting ideas across the world long before it was ready to receive them. And though he lived in relative obscurity, his visions continue to illuminate the modern age. Every electric grid, every wireless device, every spark of innovation carries the imprint of a man who refused to accept the limitations of his era. Tesla's philosophy was simple yet profound. Knowledge, imagination, and ethics are inseparable. Power is meaningless without purpose. Invention is meaningless without conscience. And the true measure of a scientist, he believed, is not wealth, fame, or recognition, but the ability to see the future and dedicate oneself fully to its realization. In this way, Tesla's life was more than a biography. It was a manifesto, a declaration that humanity's potential is limitless when one dares to dream, when one dares to push the boundaries of understanding, and when one refuses to surrender to fear, greed, or mediocrity. Tesla's influence extends far beyond the inventions he completed. It lives in the very fabric of modern technology. The alternating current system that powers cities worldwide was once considered impossible, a vision laughed at by skeptics. Yet today it is the backbone of global infrastructure. Every light that flickers on, every appliance that hums, every city skyline ablaze with electricity bears Tesla's imprint. His AC motors, transformers, and energy distribution concepts laid the groundwork for the electrified modern world, touching billions of lives, often without recognition. Yet Tesla's influence was not limited to electricity. His early work in radio waves and wireless communication prefigured the technology that now connects the globe. Long before Wi-Fi, smartphones, and satellites, Tesla imagined a network of invisible signals bridging continents, carrying messages instantaneously. He was, in essence, an architect of the connected world, a prophet of a future he would not live to see. The legend surrounding Tesla only grew after his death. Stories circulated of his lost inventions, secret papers seized by the government, and machines capable of reshaping nature itself. Conspiracy theories emerged. Did Tesla's death ray exist? Could his Wardenclyffe Tower have powered the world for free? Were there suppressed discoveries that could have ended fossil fuel dependence? While many of these tales remain unproven, they underscore the extraordinary imagination and influence of Tesla's mind. People could not contain his ideas. They transcended reality, moving into myth. Tesla also became a symbol of uncompromising genius. In popular culture, he is depicted as the brilliant loner, misunderstood by his peers, often battling corporate greed and societal ignorance. Movies, books, documentaries, and video games have immortalized him as a figure who embodies the eternal struggle of vision against convention. He is a cautionary tale and a source of inspiration. A man who lived entirely for ideas, whose dedication to the future eclipsed concern for personal gain. Even modern innovators cite Tesla as a guiding force. Nikola Tesla's legacy inspired engineers, inventors, and scientists who would create breakthroughs in robotics, space travel, renewable energy, and digital technology. Visionaries like Elon Musk, inspired by Tesla's audacity, named their companies after him. His pioneering work with alternating current continues to guide electrical engineering, energy policy, and sustainable development worldwide. Tesla's life also sparks reflection on the ethics of science and invention. He demonstrated that brilliance alone is not enough. The responsibility accompanying knowledge is immense. His refusal to commercialize certain inventions, his caution regarding weapons, and his insistence on serving humanity rather than profit all highlight a principle often forgotten in modern innovation: that the greatest discoveries are measured not by wealth or fame, but by their benefit to humanity. Even today, museums, memorials, and Tesla festivals honor his contributions. Smiljan, his birthplace, celebrates him as a national hero. New York, the city where he struggled and thrived, preserves plaques marking locations he lived and worked. Tesla remains a global icon, a bridge between imagination and reality, a reminder that one individual's vision can reshape the world. Tesla's story is a reminder that true genius is often misunderstood in its time. But history eventually catches up. While he died alone and impoverished, his ideas refused to remain buried. They live on in every modern convenience, every wireless signal, every sustainable energy project, every leap of technology that dares to push the limits of possibility. Tesla's influence is eternal, stretching far beyond his life, a testament to the enduring power of vision and imagination. Nikola Tesla's life was a symphony of brilliance and solitude, invention and obsession, hope and tragedy. He was a man born enlightening, who carried storms in his mind and radiance in his soul. From the humble village of Smiljan to the towering skyscrapers of New York City, Tesla moved through the world as both participant and prophet, shaping the future even as he was largely ignored. He was a man of paradoxes. He dreamed boundlessly yet lived minimally, invented tirelessly yet remained unrecognized, wielded the power of science yet upheld the ethics of morality. While others pursued wealth, fame, or influence, Tesla pursued the impossible: a world powered by free energy, connected invisibly, and liberated from the limitations of scarcity. Every spark he generated, every coil he wound, every idea he penned was a message to the future. Humanity can achieve far more than it dares to imagine. Tesla's failures were as monumental as his successes. Wardenclyffe Tower, the teleforce, and countless inventions remained unfinished, misunderstood, or suppressed. Investors fled. Governments intervened. The world often seemed to turn against him. Yet, in every failure, Tesla saw possibility. He never stopped imagining. He never stopped creating. In his mind, science was infinite, energy eternal, and the future unbound. Even in his final years, alone in a small hotel room, he remained a visionary. Pigeons became companions, numbers and patterns became guides, and lightning continued to dance in his imagination. He walked among the living yet spoke to the universe, perceiving forces and possibilities far beyond what anyone else could comprehend. Tesla was a bridge between what is and what could be, a living testament to the power of the human mind. Tesla's death on January 7, 1943, marked the end of a life lived on the edge of possibility. Yet death did not silence him. His ideas, his inventions, his vision, these continued to pulse through the world. AC electricity powers entire continents. Radio, wireless transmission, robotics, and turbines carry forward his legacy. Satellites orbit the Earth, smartphones connect billions, and clean energy initiatives echo his dream of a world unbound by scarcity. Every modern innovation, in some way, is haunted by Tesla's imagination. The true legacy of Nikola Tesla is not in patents, profits, or fame. It is in the possibility he left behind, in the daring to dream beyond boundaries, to challenge convention, and to imagine a world that does not yet exist. He was a man who refused to settle, who refused to compromise, and who refused to accept that humanity's future was limited by the present. And so, as night falls across cities lit by the electricity he championed, as wireless signals carry voices and data around the globe, as turbines hum and machines move, Tesla's spirit endures. He is not merely history. He is the pulse of invention, the spark of imagination, and the embodiment of what it means to see beyond the horizon. Nikola Tesla, the child of lightning, the dreamer of worlds, the prophet of energy, remains eternal. He reminds us that one mind, fueled by imagination, courage, and ethics, can illuminate the world long after the world has forgotten his name.